Hands down, best sleep of my trip so far was at a Love's gas station in Arkansas. I was tired. With some surprisingly great coffee, I was on the road again. This time to Little Rock. Worked out, showered, and put makeup on for the first time in weeks. How did I do? First time in Little Rock, was recommended a place called The Root where I met two friends and had some excellent lemonade and fantastically fresh food. We took to exploring the area while we caught up. Got an excellent orange blossom latte at Fidel & Co. Coffee, popped by the Capitol to check out the Little Rock 5 statue, and finally said goodbye after a stellar day. I ventured around the Somo area and finally went to sleep next to a church. Follow for more on why I stayed in Little Rock longer. Little Rock, Arkansas was perfect layover place for my coast-to-coast fan trip. I self-parked in a quiet neighborhood, was up early to eat at Community Bakery, took some online meetings from MacArthur Park, finally reorganized my passenger seat pantry, went to the Root and did something I rarely do, have the same meal twice. After lunch, I napped in Somo, got a bubble tea that was a bit too sweet for me at Tea Capital, but otherwise I think most people would have loved it. Then rounded out the day recording a podcast episode for my other channel. I didn't have to drive too far to Stealth Park as many spots were free and quiet. Lastly, I caught up with my love while doing the basic nightly things. Follow for more. From having slept on the street in Little Rock, Arkansas to climbing two mountains. Join me as I totally underestimate everything today. Starting out strong with another Pop-Tart from Community Bakery. An hour later, I was over at Pinnacle Peak at the West Summit Trail.
Doesn't a mountain of stairs look like the most fun? I am doing so much for my health. It's amazing.
Fortunately, there were a lot of benches everywhere, and folks were really nice.
Something about a shared goal. Everybody's been so friendly this morning.
After following droplets of fresh blood, I made it to the peak.
I'm so proud of my body. And up at the peak, I made some new friends, dog and human, from some locals that had really great advice on some things I can check out today. Here's to Arkansas. I will not be filming this. I made my offering to the mountain. So close to being down. There's Fanny.
Stopped by the really nice visitor center before leaving and then went to Petit Park. This is the second mountain that I climbed, though I was able to climb it in Vanny, which sure, let's say that counts. This was recommended to me by one of the hikers that I met at Pinnacle Peak. There's also a little bit of lore here saying that a man's lover did not quite make it the full trip after cross-dressing across the ocean to be with him and was buried up there. All the same, we totally stand a woman who will wear pants to get the job done. This also used to be an old campsite, so you can kind of wander around through the ruins. I mean, what a sight. Can you even imagine getting to stay up here? After a quick stop at the visitor center, I found this beautiful waterfall and then was on my way to drive into Oklahoma. Found another Love's travel stop to stay in. It was nice and quiet for the night. Got what food I could to settle down and have, no surprise, more Gilmore Girls, and enjoying what fried food I could before settling in for the night. Let's see if I can actually sleep in this time, though the parking lot did get a little bit loud later. Follow for more.
Let me tell you something about America. I'm out in Pinnacle Mountain State Park, Arkansas, deep south. I'm climbing a mountain. I'm not alone. I'm with a bunch of other people. And the farther up you go, the nicer people become. They warn you that it's going to get really steep, but of course in my mind I'm like, how bad could it be? I felt. As I'm going up, seeing young, old, white, black, brown, gay, straight, wealthy, poor, you name it. Everybody's going up. And the harder it becomes, the more likely people were willing to help each other. The closer people got to the peak, more and more people started to talk to each other. They started to encourage each other. They started to say, hey, you're so close, you can do it. You've got to see the view. It's amazing. I get closer. There are Boy Scouts all over the place helping to preserve the trail on a Saturday. There are groups of guys, girls, dogs, you name it. We're all climbing to the peak and we're all supporting each other on the way up. I learned something today. We're all working towards a common goal. We see each other more. We understand each other more. We're there for each other more. Somebody falls, a bunch of people are there to help. Somebody needs water, a bunch of people ready to give. We are being told as a country that we need to be divisive, that we need to not trust one another. I heard 5 different languages today, and everybody was friendly, everybody was kind, everybody was sharing. Y'all, I'm in Arkansas. I don't know anything about this place, but I feel like I'm walking away a better person. Because today, I saw what I consider is the United States of America. I saw my America. Black, brown, young, old, wealthy, poor. Everybody helping everybody else to the top. Because there's a view, and it's waiting for all of us. We can all share it together. We do not have to step on each other. We do not have to reserve things from each other. So really, the next time you think that everything is wrong and that everybody hates each other, go climb a mountain. Go spend your Saturday climbing a mountain, working towards a common goal with a bunch of other people you don't know. I hope that you leave as pleasantly surprised as I did today.
You'd think a Love's travel stop in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, there would be a quiet sleep, but not when Bubba's are out doing donuts with their trucks at 2 a.m. Anyway, coffee was hot and good as I drove out to the Choctaw Planet Fitness for a much-needed workout and shower. By that time, the sun was up and I was on my way to Oklahoma City. Stopped at the very yummy Clarity Coffee to get some work done, where the folks were super nice and gifted me stickers and instant coffee when they found out I was a van lifer. Next was the First Americans Museum. Y'all, I have visited hundreds of museums over the world, and this is one of my favorites. So well done. It is a must-see in Oklahoma City. I once again find myself at a mountain. That was amazing. I would highly recommend. That is a museum that needs to be seen by everybody. If you are calling yourself an American, you need to see this. This is our history too. Then met up with my cousin at the Collective where I got cauliflower hot wings. My cousin recommended I check out Craig's Emporium and I was not disappointed. This place was so gay and magical and fun. So naturally, I have to make my van interior even more gay. Finished the day at Not Your Average Joe Coffee Shop. It was a really cool place, and yes, I did have the same dinner that I had for breakfast. Found a quiet spot to sleep for the night, and it was pretty good, actually, except for the really loud trucks. You'd think there was an epidemic of tiny wieners in Oklahoma City with how loud men's pickup trucks are. Y'all, if no one told you, sound does not equal size. Anyway, I'm grumpy. Planet Fitness was followed by sunrise at Stars and Stripes Park. There I saw a beaver, which was super exciting, followed by a bunch of birds, some of which I had never seen before. The Red Cup was also recommended to me. I actually was able to get a cafe au lait with oat, which is my favorite, plus a tofu scramble. It was so good to have actual protein. Lastly, I felt compelled to visit the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum, which was unexpected, but also really cool. I love that they talked about movie representation as well as representation of women, Black, and brown people involved in the trade. This is like a giant town of make-believe. I especially love the recreations of towns and the buildings, especially the reconstructions from Native American buildings, because after having gone to the First Americans Museum the previous day, it was really, really cool to see firsthand what these places would have looked like, and all in one place. Also, I don't know if Annie Oakley was actually only this tall, but I feel pretty cool because we're almost the same height. Also, shout out to the OG van lifers who moved west. That said, I left with an anger that if people ate less cows, we'd have a lot more free-roaming native wildlife and far less pollution. Fight me. Last stop was Tapioca Lounge before heading west, where ironically, my parking spot at the Love's travel station, you're seeing a trend here, backed up against a cow field. Y'all, look at them go. Look at them go. They're all going somewhere. They're being a herd. They're being cows. Look at them go. Don't get me wrong, I love cows, but I also understand that we don't need nearly as many as we have. But I love them when they're alive, don't you? Come with me as I watch the sunrise over a battlefield in Oklahoma. Starting out strong with some Love's Travel Stop coffee after having parked there for the night. Drove by Route 66 Museum, but it wasn't open yet. Came to Washita Battlefield to watch the sunrise. Walked down to the Washita River, saw some deer. heard of the prayer flags. I'm not gonna show it. Or if there's a prayer flag just off camera. I'm not gonna show what's behind me because this tree is covered in prayer markers. This is where I felt like I needed to be at dawn. I was perplexed by how cold and still everything was. As the sun rose, I held space for the tragedy that happened here. The cavalry that shamelessly attacked a peaceful Cheyenne encampment with elderly women and children. This was the second time the U.S. attacked this band of Cheyenne, even after Chief Black Kettle did what he could to protect the peace. I found myself overwhelmed with grief for the people who lost their homeland, family, and friends. I had no idea that the attack started at dawn until after I visited. I did not know it was at dawn. I just felt like I needed to be out here at dawn. He was trying to keep peace, and they made him an example. A warning not to raid into Kansas. All of this was a warning. So many passed. There's just so much unnecessary. Over 800 horses just killed. I provided what healing energy I could as I decided to cast off a knitting project I had been working on, that I could leave it in the trees with the other prayer flags. Following my walk, I went to the visitor center where the rangers and shopkeeper were very friendly and accommodating in showing me around the museum. After that experience, I did have hope that perhaps we might have a better future together, having seen the preservation was going on at this battlefield. That said, I know we have a long way to go. That was an excellent visitor center. Very well-rounded, really nice folks, very informative. Wow. It's kind of wild that I wound up here the way that I did and that I heard about it at the museum. Just wow. Next stop, Texas. Follow for more.